Hello? Can we be heard? There was network error. Oh my god. Yes,
Yes,
I'm aware.
we can be heard.
Thank god. Alright. Sorry about that. My internet decided to just stop working for a minute. Okay, so this game's gonna be in two parts on the
Hmm.
YouTube because I'm not gonna want to edit these together. Um, but yeah, as I was saying, I don't know when it went out in the middle of me talking.
The last I heard was Kess telling Jackson, um, like, be right back. There's somebody that I would like to
Yes,
say hi to.
yes. Basically trying to imply like it's not another one of the other wealthy men in this room, you know,
Hmm.
because men.
Hmm.
And just kind of breaks away from him while he's in the middle of talking to like business partners or whatever the fuck.
Right.
Um, to like go see Nicola because Nicola is infinitely more interesting than this asshole. um, and like to get Nicola's attention, like uh I think touches her wrist.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, very. Um and says, "There you are. I was hoping I would see you here." And I'm going to roll. That's a 12. Oh, that's our second 12.
Hmm.
Um and like Kess is like a softer smile, I think, than he would have given to anybody else in this room. Because I
Hmm.
think at this point they've like met a few more times.
Hmm.
So Cass is like, I like Nicola. She's interesting. So more friendly than just I just know you. You're just kind of
Hmm.
in my periphery.
Hmm.
Um,
Um,
yeah.
I think she Kess caught her in not like in the middle of a conversation, but like in a loose group of people who were catching up. Um, and uh, she turns with a bright smile. Um, and I think I think there is a very brief moment where Kess is or where Nicola's like, "Oh, Kess, it's so good to see you," and da da da. Um, but Kess can like see for just a moment because usually she doesn't let other people see this part of her.
Mm-hmm.
Kess can see her doing the mental calculations of like taking in Kess's apparel and like realizing who Kess is here with. Um, and like normally she takes pains to hide that from other people, to hide the fact that she notices shit like that from other people. Um, so I think this is maybe the first time that Kess has really seen her do it. Um,
Maybe it's because it's taken a little off guard since Nicola probably didn't see Kess first.
uh-huh. And I believe this is me unintentionally revealing something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
9. Um, but it's a very warm welcome. She introduces Kess to the other people in probably other women in the circle. Um, and I think some of the people in the circle know who Kess is, and
Oh,
they're
yeah.
like, uh-huh. And some of the people, others don't know who Kess is. And oh no.
Oh, no?
No, Jade just sent me Jade just sent me an attack. It's fine.
Aha. I see. Um, Kess is very friendly to everybody there because Kess is like a friendly person. Even if people know like what Kess does and who Kess is still like, listen, as long as you're nice and not mean to me, we're fine.
Mhm.
The minute you're mean to me, I will turn into a catty bitch.
Mhm.
And maybe that's something that happens is somebody makes like a snide remark about Kess.
Uh,
Um, Maybe something about like I see that you're at another party with I for some reason my brain is like you can't remember his last name. I see you're at another party with Baron Whitehall. What is this? The fifth party this month? And Kess is like a tight-lipped smile, just says, "Oh yes, he is a very friendly gentleman. I see him quite frequently."
and
Just
I think yeah.
yeah.
Um and I think Nicola kind of like she says something along the lines of um she says something along the lines of uh why yes, Kess is invited to uh a great many parties. Um how many have you been able to attend? Ms. Kernow? Uh, I believe you've only been able to attend two in the last 6 months. And it's like very underhanded dig of like, at least they get invited to parties.
You can't sit with us. This lady is just gets like, well, I never. Just gets a huffy and leaves the little group, and all the other ladies like titter because they're just
Uh-huh.
like,
Yep. Yep.
um. And Kess is just like the tight smile relaxes into something more genuine. Um, I have an idea in my head for the rest of this, and I'm trying to make it form,
Mm.
become actualized. um, oh, I know. I think the other ladies like kind of start breaking off a bit and like just gossiping in general. And it's not really anything interesting, it's just gossip.
Mm-hmm.
So Kess kind of, focuses more attention on Nicola. Um, and I think Kess has like a fan,
Uh-huh.
and gestures for Nicola to like lean in closer before like flicking it open so that like his mouth is
Mm-hmm.
hidden. And says, "So, Baron Whitehall is here very specifically to talk to some other rich fuck. Don't
Mm-hmm.
have a name for them. About increasing trades between this city in this country and this city in this country. I thought you would think that would be interesting.
I think Kess sees that calculating look on Nicola's face again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, and then he sees like the mask kind of shudder down. Um, and she says, "Yes, that is quite interesting. Thank you." Uh,
And
mhm.
anytime, darling. That one is free of charge. And just kind of flutters the fan.
Good, good. Um, and I think, what does she do? She, I think, holds out her hand for the fan, and says, "That is exquisitely made. May I?"
Of course. It's like snaps it closed and like sets it in Nicola's hand.
Mm-hmm. And because of who I am as a person, there's a brush of hands
Of course,
uh,
of course.
at this trade. Um,
That like the brush of fingers against each other.
yep, that is a 13.
Hell yeah.
Um, and she she doesn't snap it open because she doesn't want to accidentally damage it.
Yeah.
Um, because she isn't very familiar with this particular one. But she fans it out, and kind of like runs her fingers over the design. Um, and uh, she says, I think she says very quietly, uh, "The Baron does buy you quite fine things."
I wish some of them were a bit less gaudy. It touches the mask and grimaces.
Oh, he purchased that for you.
Yes, this one's not quite my taste.
Mm-hmm. Uh,
If I had had a choice in the matter, I would have gone with something a bit more demure.
mm-hmm.
Still bright. Has to match the gestures at himself, but less feathers.
uh, I think she kind of like looks just over the top of his head where like the feathers of the mask are. And she kind of looks at it for a second. Um, and she says, "Well, it's certainly not to my taste, but you do make it look very good."
Well, thank you. I do my best.
I realize I never described Nicola's mask.
You did not.
Uh, I think I think her mask is. Hold on, I gotta look up some images.
Gotta double check that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I can sit here and try to think about a piece of information to reveal about Kess.
uh, uh,
While Danielle is thinking about this and looking up images, I just want to remind everybody that we are raising money for Seattle Pride. They dropped Amazon as one of their sponsors because Amazon was being awful about it. Um, and so they are on their donor box right now trying to raise $100,000. We have currently raised 120 to help them with that. Um, the money goes not just to their Pride celebration, but also to the organization itself and the queer community of Seattle. So, anything that you can spare would be fantastic if you can. If not, please help spread this stream as well as the donor box around. But if you can spare some, we do have some fun incentives. For $5, you can force a tower pull. It is one pull per $5. And
mhm.
for $25, you can pick a game for us to play on a future stream. We don't have a lot of incentives for this game in particular, just because there is not a lot of things to force us to do. But for some of the other games we have coming up, there are way more incentives. Super duper fun.
Yeah. So Nicola's mask is silver. And it'll be easier to just fucking actually, can you put it on the stream for a second?
I fucking love that.
Right?
Give me a
Um
second.
yeah. So it's got so think of a traditional like half face mask shape. Um but instead of just kind of being rounded, it kind of fans out from the eyes. And the kind of fans are it's almost like webs, like spider webs, um, in these like trumpets of fans out, uh, and in the center, in what you might mistake for just like a kind of normal uh, a decoration for the bridge of the nose, there is uh, a spider. Um, it's very jeweled, and so like at first it kind of just looks like a big jewel on the bridge of the nose with like some little fronds off of it, but it's actually just like a spider sitting in the center of this web of the mask.
It's almost like it's symbolic.
Yeah.
It is up on screen.
Hell yeah. Um but that's the mask that she is wearing.
I'll throw this off to the side now. This is I'm in charge of the stream. I can put images on the screen if I want to. Very, very pretty. Um, I think, uh, as this is, like, as they're talking and, like, chatting, I think Kess also, like, compliments the design of Nicola's mask and says that, like, it, accentuates, like, the shape of your face. Your hair is styled very nicely around it. Compliments.
Mm-hmm.
And they're genuine compliments. It's not like Kess is just, talking out of his ass.
Right.
Uh, and then one of the men at this party stumbles and spills his drink on Kess's dress.
Oh no.
Yeah, Kess's blue dress, so this drink shows up starkly on it, and Kess, like, doesn't shriek, but kind of, like, makes a noise, like, very startled, and just like, oh. And the man cannot hold his alcohol very well. I don't know if this is the same man they talked about before, but, you know. And, like, he kind of apologizes, and Kess just kind of gives a very tight smile and says, "It's all right. It will be fine." And is, like, trying to figure out what to do from here because they can't stay at a party with a dress covered in wine.
Mm-hmm.
Which means they have to go back to the Baron and tell him that they have to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this, like, moment of deliberation as Kess, like, the like, shoos the drunk dude off. It's just like, just leave. I will take care of it. It's fine. Just leave me alone. And looks down at his dress and then looks at Nicola and gives, like, a kind of, like, it's a real smile, but it's kind of like that kind of crooked wry kind of smile. It's like, well, guess that's the end of my night.
I think Nicola, she frowns a little, and she says, "If I didn't know better, I would think he did that on purpose." In the way that clearly makes it clear that she does think he did it on purpose.
Yeah. And Kess kind of, like, brushes that comment off and says, no, this happens. Drunk men can't seem to find their own feet. It's part of why I don't drink that much. And this is an intentional reveal of personal information.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna pull. That is a 9. Don't put too much stock in drunk men's actions. They're idiots.
I think she just nods, and she she flicks her eyes over to the Baron and then back to Kess, and she says, "Have a safe rest of your night. It was a pleasure to see you."
Pleasure as always to see you as well. And I'll do my best. The good thing about being gifted a bunch of sapphire jewelry is that even if I have to cut my night short, I still make money. Grins. And, like, you know, goes back to the Baron, and, like, he is appalled and wants to know who did this, and and Kess is just, going along with it because that's what he's paid to do. And Nicola will realize after Kess and the Baron have left that she still has Kess's fan.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that is seen.
Yeah. Thank you for checkboxing the
Mm-hmm.
fucking things, because I keep forgetting to do that.
Well, the good thing about this is that even if we forget to do that, it keeps track of our score anyway.
Yeah.
So it'll be all right. But
Also, just a kind of like side remark, the fact that Kess had wine spilled all over his dress is definitely a thing that gets talked about by like the more gossipy people at the next few parties. Kess is conspicuously missing from a few of those. Because, you know, it'd be like that.
it do be like that. Okay. Finding common ground.
Let's see. Finding common ground. So the first thing that comes to mind is Nicola inviting Kess to her like home.
Mm.
Uh because it'll be like in some degrees safer to talk there. And if
Mm-hmm.
anybody sees Kess, less safe, but you know.
Right.
Nicola wouldn't hire anybody who they don't trust to keep their fucking mouth shut. So
Right. Yeah. So Nicola invites Kess over for tea.
yeah.
But it's not like a tea party. There's
No,
no
no,
one
no.
else
It's
here.
just it's
It's just
tea
yeah. It's
in the
just a visit.
parlor, you know.
Mm-hmm. Um, I think that I don't think Kess has been here before.
No, absolutely not.
Uh, and I think that Kess is maybe surprised by the opulence of it. Um,
I don't
like,
think Kess is surprised. Like
okay.
like
Uh,
on one hand, probably a little surprised because like Nicola doesn't necessarily put off that vibe, but
right,
also Nicola or not Kess knows that like looks are everything when it comes to the
right.
upper class, and so it's just kind of like, yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they're all fancy.
Yep. Uh, yeah. So it's like it's a house that is way fucking bigger than it needs to be.
Yeah,
And uh, like I think the
there's
house is
grounds. It has
yes,
grounds.
yes. Like the estate is really large, but I think one thing that's weird is there are fewer servants than you would expect. It's like skeleton crew basically.
Mm-hmm.
Um all extremely well paid. Uh but like all only strictly exactly as many people as absolutely need to be there. Because it's difficult to vet a whole lot of people.
Yeah,
Um
Kess got picked up by one of Nicola's carriages.
uh-huh.
Uh, for privacy reasons, gets like dropped at the front door and like, you know, met by like a maid.
Uh-huh. Or the uh fuck, what's the like
Butler.
Yeah, butler. I don't know if there's another word. I feel like there's another word for it.
Eh.
Uh, the word for the person who essentially runs the the house.
I have no idea. I know I probably
uh,
should, but I do not. Again,
yeah.
I never had a Jane Austen face.
Uh, it's not important. Um, yeah. So Kess is seen into the parlor, and uh, after just like a brief moment, Nicola comes down and joins them. Um, and I think Nicola serves the tea herself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, very, very gracious when she talks to the butler, whomever. Um, just like thanking them for their time and just being like, I have this, thanks. um, and uh, she says, I'm so glad that you were able to join me this afternoon. Um,
Of course. I would take any amount of time out of my day to come see a dear friend.
uh, I think she raises an eyebrow a little bit at that, but doesn't say anything. Uh, and
There's no fucking facade here with Kess right now. It's just. It's like Nicola is a friend
uh,
at this point.
mm-hmm. uh, I don't know that she believes it.
She
Um,
has trust issues.
uh-huh. um, and she she gives Kess their tea, um, and sits down with her own, um, and she sips at it for a second, um, and then she says, I've missed you at the last few events.
After what happened last time, I felt it best to. It kind of pauses, trying to find the right word. Let the gossip die down a bit. And if anybody questions it, I can just say that the Baron wanted me to himself for a little while.
I think Nicola makes a face.
Kess is also making a face, like, not that he actually did. Did not get paid, but. Again,
Yeah,
like I said when the last time we spoke, that's what the jewelry's for.
Nicola nods. Um, and she looks very thoughtful for a long moment. Um, and she says, um, you might be needing to sell a bit more of your jewelry in the future, I'm afraid. I believe that the Baron's trade prospects are a little more precarious than he might expect.
Cass, like after taking a sip of tea, just kind of raises an eyebrow.
Nicola does not elaborate.
Cass does not push. It's just like, well, I did give her the information. Like, just God. Uh, I think uh stupid fucking fruit fly.
Eh.
It touched me.
Oh no.
Upsetty. um I think there's a brief bit of silence and then I immediately lost what the fuck I was about to say. Good
Oh
fucking
no.
god. uh Jesus. Um I think also like I need to describe Kessa's outfit because this is fashion for hours. Uh Kessa's in trousers and a waistcoat today, and
Mm.
not a dress, uh, but still like with jewelry and other like more feminine associated accessories.
Mhm.
Uh, he cuts a dashing figure
Mhm.
because of course he does.
Of course he does.
Yes. And like takes another sip of tea, uh, and then trying to think of words. I think. So, are you ever going to tell me why you want to know so much about the Baron? Not that you have to, but I'm curious.
Uh, that I think that shuddered look comes down for a second before Nicola like smooths it out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and what does she say? She says, because I want this to be something more revealing than she intends.
Yeah.
Um, and I think she says, a long time ago, before I came here, a man by the name of Baron Jackson Whitehall what did he do? He There's so many things.
There's so many things it could be.
Yeah. A man named Baron Jackson Whitehall had held a ball and accused one of his servants of embezzling his riches, of stealing from him. And ever since then, I have been very distrustful of him. Yeah, let's go with that. And I'm gonna roll. 18.
I think Kets just nods once Nicola's done talking. As you should be. He is abhorrent in private.
Oh, maybe this is this might be the part where she actually unintentionally reveals something, because I think she says, "Oh, I'm aware." Go ahead.
Yeah, and Kiss just and pardon my language, I fucking hate the man.
Mm.
Revealing something intentionally. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's a 1. Oh no, a crit fail.
And I think Nicola smiles, and she does not question, like, then why do you work for him? Because that's kind of a
stupid question.
a stupid question.
Yes, needs money. He has money. You do what you gotta do.
Yep.
In the Hearthside Enclave house, we stand sex workers.
Yep. But I think she does.
This is the first time I've played Kess on screen. for Hearthside Enclave stuff.
I think she's just kind of like quietly thoughtful for a moment. And then she says, "Oh, excuse me for one moment." And she like hustles off back upstairs. And after a moment comes back with Kess's fan. And she holds it out to him and says, "You left this in my possession the last time we spoke."
Oh, let me think about how to make this fucking gay. I think Kess takes it and kind of like looks at it a moment. And then before like Nicola can take the stupid fruit fly touched me again.
Mm.
I wish I could kill it. And every time I try,
Mm.
it escapes. Him in hell. I think before Nicola can take her hand away, puts it like back in her hand, like and puts like his other hand over it and her hand, like
Yeah.
You seemed fond of it before. Why don't you hold on to it? I have quite a few others like it.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, I think the blue compliments you.
I think she blushes a little.
I'm gonna do a
And
poll.
do it.
That's a 12. Oh no.
Oh no.
That's 3 12s.
One fear.
One fear. The tower falling.
Oh.
That's 3 12s. We need 2 more 12s and the tower falls.
Mm-hmm. And I think when she takes her hand back, she does it in that like slow drag kind of way.
I see you. I see you.
Yep. I'm also gonna make a roll. One. And she says very quietly, thank you. I think this may be the first genuine gift that she's had while she's here.
Oh.
Because I exist to cause Izzy pain.
You do, you fucker. It's fine. We can do this to each other.
I think that's scene.
It's a good scene.
Mm-hmm.
We're just getting more gay as we go.
That is how this game works, yes.
Yes. So, for our listening audience, we have rolled 2 1s, 1 3, 2 4s, 1 5, 1 8, 2 9s, 3 12s, 2 13s, 1 14, 1 16, 1 18, and 1 20. Eyes emoji at the 12.
Yeah. So we have one number that has 3 rolls. We have 5 numbers that have 2, and the rest have only 1. So we're getting there. All right, hard at work.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
I want this to be Nicola has hired Kess to be their date at a party that the Baron is not going to be at.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know, kind of a power move. Like,
Yep.
what if I hired the Baron's favorite courtesan to go to a party with me?
Yeah.
Also, said courtesan said that blue, looks good with me. And said courtesan is blue.
Uh, good, good. Uh, so, um, yeah, this isn't like strictly super unusual for other people to hire Kess, but
Oh,
like
no.
it doesn't happen often.
No. Because they're all, like, afraid of the Baron, like,
Yeah. Mostly the only other people who hire Kess aren't in this particular social circle.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um and what kind of event is it?
I... Hmm. It's a charity auction
Okay. I
with,
dig it.
like, a dinner also.
Mm-hmm.
So it's mostly one of those events that you go so that you can, like, make connections. This
Yeah.
isn't necessarily a come and look good
Right.
kind of event, but, like, also looking good doesn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the charity is like, we're raising money for this orphanage that we definitely could just give our money to, but this is more fun
Mm-hmm.
because we're all fucking rich people who suck. Um, except for, like, Nicola, because Nicola wants to, murder some of them.
Uh-huh.
And Kess is just like, I'm just here for money. This is
Mm-hmm.
fine. But also, I think if Nicola just asked, Kess probably would have gone. But Nicola probably led that with, I want to hire your services.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
And Kess was like, well, all right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why not? Sure. Do we have a color scheme? What should I wear?
uh
Would you like me in trousers or a dress?
uh I think she basically says, wear whatever you'd like. Um, and she's like, I'm going to wear, uh, I think, I think for this event, um,
Izzy forces Danielle to think about fashion
I
at
know it's,
5 in the morning.
uh, yes, my brain, which is already so wired for fashion. Uh, um, I think it is, um, it's like a Viking apron dress.
Ooh.
Um, again, like centuries out of fashion. Uh, and it like this is like showing up to a modern party in a fucking Renaissance dress.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, 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 yeah.
um uh but yeah, so it's a Viking apron dress, which is like even for its time, like you of course you had nice apron dresses, but like they're not capital F fancy.
Yeah.
Um except that like it's made with very nice material. Like the only thing that is clearly fancy about this dress is just how well made it is and like the details. Again, it's all in like the tiny details.
Yeah.
Um
Kess has absolutely nothing that actually goes, like, matches this, so Kess opts for color coordination
Uh-huh.
and color coordinates with the dress, but also chooses as a decent juxtaposition to wear, like, like a trouser outfit rather than a dress.
Yeah.
So that they have differing silhouettes uh, and look good standing next to each other because it's all about appearance. um,
Pageantry.
Pageantry, yes.
Uh,
And Kess is a delightful date.
of course.
You know, picks her up in a carriage and everything. It's not his carriage, but that's fine. You can rent carriages. It's fine.
I was gonna say, picks her up in her carriage.
No, Kess can rent a carriage. Kess has the money to rent a carriage. I think Kess does own his own horse. Only one horse, but it's fine. Not every carriage needs 2 horses.
No.
And Kess's horse is a sweet old thing that's just, a pleasant old mare. Who definitely has a name that I can't think of right now. Because it is 4:30 in the morning.
Sugar.
Yes, her name is Sugar. Which I think like when they get there, like Kess is already like, outside of the carriage as like a gentleman does. But instead of immediately greeting Nicola, he's actually talking to his horse. And so Nicola gets to see Kess has been putting on an accent most of this time, like an accent, like an affectation to talk like properly. No. Kess is like petting Sugar's like nose and like talking softly to her and saying, "Oh, you're just such a sweet girl, Sugar. Look at you, you're doing such a good job. You'll get us there and back in no time." Just being very like gentle and soft with this old horse, and like the carriage driver is just there. He was hired. He's just like, yep, this is this person's horse. This is normal. Some horse owners do this. I'm just here.
Yep.
So I'm going to unintentionally reveal something about myself. And roll. That is a 2.
First 2.
Yeah.
I think Nicholas like stands on effectively what is her porch for a moment without announcing the fact that she has arrived to watch this. And when there's a natural lull in the conversation with the horse. She kind of clears her throat a little bit.
The Kess just full body jumps. It's like, oh, Nicola. Sorry.
It's not a problem. Shall we?
Yes. Let me get the door of the carriage for you. Like goes and like opens the door to help and like helps her in.
And they get to the party. And Nicola, I think the seat that Nicola has, like she RSVP'd with a +1, but I think they've only set 1 place for her.
Rude.
Yeah. And so when they kind of like go over to the table where they should be seated, they frown at the table and kind of like look at it for a little while, like, this doesn't compute.
This is not quite right. Kess, like, after a moment, I think Kess realizes what is not correct about the table setting in front of them. And it's like, ah. Would you like me to go talk to someone about this?
No, you're my guest. I will go speak to our host. And she doesn't storm off. She doesn't. Nicola is too composed to storm off. But I think there is an air of a specific kind of energy around her. Like we live in a fantasy realism world here, but like she's not magical. It's just like, you know, when someone it's very Charlize Theron in Narnia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it Narnia that she did that for? I can't remember. Anyway,
I know the vibe you're going for.
Yeah, the one from all the gift sets where she's like, you hold yourself like this, and then you think murder, and then you walk.
Oh, that's not Narnia. That's fuck me, I do not know.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's from.
My brain keeps wanting to say Devil Wears Prada, but that is not correct because
yeah, same.
The only reason I'm thinking about that is because I'm thinking of Meryl Streep.
Right.
Because I described my character in the last game looking like that when she gets on the elevator with the shades. Same vibe. No, Philo, it's not Yukio.
It is Charlize Theron. I did get that part right.
Yeah. Philo, you're a delight. That is incorrect.
Yeah. Come from your core really tight, shoulders down, neck long, then just think murder and walk. Snow White and the Huntsman. Yes, that is exactly it, Philo.
Wow, is that really from Snow White and the Huntsman?
Apparently. I thought it was older than that.
I thought it was from a more modern movie than that. Which is why I was thinking, where's Prada?
It's a thing, Philo, where it's like you can, when you stand up straight in a certain way with like your head up
and your shoulders like down and back.
Yeah, it doesn't actually like physically make your neck longer, but it does make your neck look longer,
which gives you a more intimidating silhouette.
It's like how in some yoga classes they'll tell you to like pretend that there is a string coming from the top of your head to the ceiling. It's the same idea. Yep. Anyway, that's how she's walking.
And Kess is like, ooh, somebody is about to get their ass torn open. Does not say that, but is like, ooh. Just kind of stands like behind the chair, like hands behind his back, just waiting, you know, being polite and patient.
And she makes it to the host, begins talking to the host. At first, it's a very low conversation, but very soon, like, the voice doesn't rise. She's not yelling. It's just suddenly the whole room can hear her. Partly that's because people have noticed what's going on and have stopped talking because they're watching. But essentially, she says something along the lines of, uh, I don't care who showed up unexpectedly. You will make a spot for my guest. And, and the or else
Yeah.
is unspoken, but loud as anything.
Yes, internally. Ooh, that's hot.
And she and then she like begins to walk away, and then she turns back and she says, and if you take your mistake out on the people who work for you in order to fix this, you will regret it. I just like that the part that she actually does threaten is for that.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Where she says it out loud.
Yes, even more like I'm gay. You know, the moment when you're like, huh, I might be gayer than I thought I was.
And she comes back with the same walk, and like stops next to Kess, still holding herself in that way. And she says, our host sends his apologies. They will have a spot for us in a moment.
Okay, I want to do something before Nicola goes to like sit down or anything, which is I think it's intentional. I don't want this to come across as unintentional, but it's kind of one of those like intentional without really thinking about what you're doing. It has kind of like I'm trying to figure out how to word this so that it makes sense. You know, the thing when you're writing and like two people are interacting with each other and you're like, where the fuck are their hands? You know, that. I think there's like a brief moment where Kess kind of lightly propriety rules in this world can be whatever the fuck we want, and I don't care. Also, Kess probably doesn't care. But just kind of lightly touches like the side of Nicola's face before like so that like she can stop him or like pull away, just gently like doesn't like pull but just kind of like leads her forward so that they can like, you know, forehead bump. And says, thank you for that. Do you think you will be calm enough to continue this event?
I think she smiles, and accepts the forehead touch, and says, I like it if it's a thing that quote-unquote Dragonborn do.
Yes.
Because they can't really kiss.
No. And like
that one comic notwithstanding.
Yeah, it's what I
You know what I'm talking about.
what you're talking about. I think Jesus. I think what it is it's kind of like it's kind of like the very like the two finger like finger touching for Vulcans. But with Dragonborn, I think a forehead touch is like maybe more chaste than, say, like if they touch their nose or the side of their face to like your cheek or something, which is much more like intimate. This is definitely a more chaste kind of gesture, but it's still like more intimate than your standard.
Right, right.
Also, this technically means I get to do 2 because I did the forehead touch that
Yes.
Our good friend Blue was like, "Hello, yes. If you do this, do a pull." And also I did an intentional touch, so I do a pull.
Yes.
All right. That is an 18 and a 19. So it's 2 now on 18, and 19 is, we now have 1.
You mark 1 there.
Yep.
And yeah, I think it's to humans this seems like very intimate. But it's not that weird.
No.
And
if a human does it to a dragonborn, it's a little bit more intimate.
Right.
I forgot to check box revealing something personal from the horse.
Oh yeah, from earlier.
Yeah. There we
go. And
but Dragonborn's doing it, it's like nah. It's something that you would expect, like, a Dragonborn to do to somebody that they're on a date with.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also to anybody in this circle that knows that Kess is, like, a for hire date is probably like, what?
Are they they're friends?
I've never gotten that from Kess before.
Yes. And I think Nicola says to reply to Kess. She gives kind of a wry smile, and she says, "Now, when have you ever known me to not be calm?"
Oh, never. But the way you were walking definitely seemed you had a little bit of murder on your mind.
I think before she can stop herself, she says, "I always have a little bit of murder on my mind."
Okay, I'm gonna have Kess say the first thing that came to my mind, which is Kess just kind of grinning as, like, he pulls back and just says, hot.
But that is me unintentionally revealing something personal.
Good shit.
And a 3. Cool. So they sit down eventually.
Yeah, they get that other spot. Like, that other spot gets set. Kess, like, apologizes to the service staff who comes out and does it.
Yeah, I think Nicola, like, slips them some gold on the DL.
Yeah. Of course.
Which is on the DL because if anybody else saw it, they would be like, "Oh, that's fucking insulting as hell to the host." Like, your host doesn't pay you enough.
Because he doesn't.
Exactly.
Here's the thing. The host is still, like, definitely being a little bit insulting in general because whatever the menu is for this dinner, maybe only half of it can be eaten by non-humans. So Kess is like, alright, I see how it is. You're a racist. You're a bastard.
Uh-huh.
Maybe little a murder is actually a good thing. Just like,
I think at one point during the evening, Nicola like puts her arm around Kessa's chair and leans over, incidentally brushing the back of Kessa's neck.
he...
Uh, and she says, oh shit, am I doing two at once? I might be doing two at once. She says,
Are you intentionally revealing something?
yeah.
Oh. Also, I realized that I didn't need to check intentionally revealing something on my end because what I had done was unintentionally reveal something. I'm tired.
Oh, yeah. And she says, remember that we're playing the long game, my dear. And I will roll twice. 8. And 8.
Oh, oh, we have 3 8s now. 3 8s and 3 12s.
Mm-hmm. It's cool. We can't lose now.
So it's fine.
I told you I'd play Starcross to win. This might be the quickest I've won Starcross.
It's because we went into this knowing we wanted to win.
Listen,
we had a plan.
Again.
We get to the charity auction part of the evening, which happens after, like, the courses for dinner, but, like, during, like, coffee and dessert, basically, when everybody is, like, more, like, relaxed, I guess. Kess has no money with which to bid on literally anything. So it's just kind of there, like, man, rich people. You know. And I think at one point, something goes up for auction, and Kess sort of makes, like, a sound. And it's not a loud one, it's one that, like, only Nicola can hear. And if Nicola, like, gives Kess, like, a questioning look or anything, Kess will be like, I could have sworn that belonged to the Baron. And I should know. I've laid on it many times. It's probably like some really, really fancy, like, antique chaise lounge. I guess it's just like, you know, the kind of, like, knowing look that's like, I know what misdeeds have been done on that. But also, like,
the face. Not in like a realizing that could sound like ew, don't talk about that. That's not what, that's just like,
it's a face like, why do you do this?
yeah.
Why are you like this in public?
It's good natured.
Yeah. Why are you like this in public? And Kess is just, like, trying not to laugh. Nobody gets it because, like, the Baron's not here.
Mm-hmm.
But it means that the Baron sold it and it showed up at auction.
Mm-hmm.
That's me intentionally revealing something. That's a 6. That's our first 6.
Word. I think.
Intentionally revealing that Kess is a fucking gremlin.
uh, I think. I think at that point they. Nicola starts to dish dirt on a bunch of the different objects.
Oh shit.
Just like,
Kess, like, is all about this.
yeah, just like very quietly.
I mean, there's chatter everywhere, like people are
Yeah,
talking.
yeah. Um, but like most people don't know that Nicola knows this shit. Uh, and
Listen, if you pay servants well enough.
mm-hmm. Uh,
And Kess is just like, oh yes, some more dirt. Give.
yes,
I am
yes.
a gossip.
And I think the scene ends there with Nicola like leaning over, and being like, that table. uh, yeah.
God.
Uh, all right.
Oh. Close, quiet, and alone.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any ideas for this? Because I am currently like, eh.
Um.
No, I just had an idea.
Okay.
Okay. So. Wait, hold on. We got a notification on Twitch. It's another achievement. We keep getting achievements because we keep streaming. Twitch, why do you give achievements? So. They are at a party. And I don't think that Kess is there as anybody's date. I think Kess just got invited to this one.
Mm-hmm.
And Nicola also got invited to this one.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly by Kess. Kess was like, I need a +1. You don't have to pay me for this. I just want to take you.
Good. Yes.
And turns out the Baron's also there. Oh no. And
Hmm.
Kess is just like, nope, we're going to hide. And I'm going to immediately do my intentional touch, which is grabbing Nicola's hand and like pulling her into a like it's not like a actual like side room, but it's definitely like an alcove that is behind like some curtains.
Mm-hmm.
That like the curtains could be like moved to like widen the space a bit. And there is like a chaise lounge in this like small space, and it's just big enough for this chaise lounge.
Mm-hmm.
And so the two of them are kind of have to be almost like right up in each other's space.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're like, okay, how the fuck do we get out of this one?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How the fuck do we get out without him noticing us? And I'm going to. That's a 7. That's our first 7.
Word.
Keep accidentally opening Audacity every time I try to click on Streamlabs. They're right next to each other. This is
Mm-hmm.
Audacity's attached to my quick bar.
Mm-hmm. uh, and
Kess is yet again in a trouser outfit because
mm-hmm.
matchies. Matchy silhouettes. But like,
oh, I'm gonna attack you.
do it. I want to be attacked. I'm so
Yeah.
excited to be attacked.
Nicola is wearing a chitin.
I don't know what that is. How do you spell it so I can Google it?
Chiton. That's not right. Clothing. Chitin clothing.
Oh, this. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a sheet
Yeah.
with with pins in it.
Yeah. No, when I went to the Meridian Grand Tournament, I wore one. Shannon pinned it to me.
Yes. They saved my life during a Gulf Wars when it was it was so
They're
fucking hot.
so nice to wear when it's so fucking hot outside.
It's so breezy.
They're so nice. It's like I showed up. I was wearing like I think you've seen the photos of what I was wearing to start with, and then what I changed into for the like, whatever the fucking thing at the end of the night was.
The feast.
Yes. I was so hot throughout most of the day. And then I changed into that, and I was like, this is so much better. Why did I wear the first thing?
Yeah. That's why the joke here in Meridia is basically the South. It's like everyone has two personas. One is Viking, and the other one is Roman. And you do the Viking in the winter, and you do the Roman in the summer.
Yep.
Anyway.
So fucking hot. Oh,
yeah. God. For those who don't know, a chitin, basically imagine pinning two sheets together and putting your head through like one of the holes so that you have a sheet on the front side of your body and on the back side of your body, and then you just put a belt around it.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
it.
Pulling a photo to just post on stream.
But they can be rather risque.
They sure can.
Because the sides are just kind of open. Apart from the belt.
I accidentally just moved the entire screen for a second. No, stop. Dude.
Yeah.
That's very, very large. Not on purpose. So yeah. Similar to that.
Yeah.
This was the very pretty one I found.
Yes. Again, a centuries old garment.
Yes.
Because I've decided this is what Nicola does.
It's good shit is the thing.
And
I think Kess may have actually attempted to match these a little bit. In that the like, I think it's to kind of match like, because this is still like a very fancy outfit, but it also to a degree feels like purposeful dress down. Kess isn't wearing like a jacket or waistcoat and has like a floofier shirt on. But still wearing like pants what show off the butt. So I can't think of a better outfit idea than that right now.
Yeah. I like this image that I just posted in the chat. Because it demonstrates exactly how risque these can be. It's also why they're so cool to wear.
Yes. Kess's shirt has a deep V-neck.
Excellent.
That's what we'll go with.
But yeah, so they're in this small like ante room, and I think Nicola sits on the lounge, and I think for the first time Kess sees her not sitting like perfectly. Like she actually leans back into the lounge, and kind of like props her head up on her hands, and she says, well, if we wait until he's in his cups, then we should be able to leave without him noticing.
Oh, that's gonna take a minute. Unlike some of the men here, he can actually hold his alcohol.
I'm going to unintentionally reveal something and
Oh.
say, how fortunate that we're in good company then. We're gonna roll. It's a 9. Now we have 3 9s.
Oh god. I think Kessa's like little head frill kind of like it was kind of like down a bit and relaxed, kind of like flicks up. And like his nose gets a little pinker, but it's hard to see because it's a little dark in here. Like a nose, a little pinker.
Mm-hmm.
And I think his response is, "You are very good company, yes." Trying to
And
like be a little quippy, but also
I think she pats the seat next to her, and says, "You may as well sit."
Kess does, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
chaise lounges are not that big.
Mm-hmm.
So I
I know
think
what I'm doing.
I know you know what you're doing. I think Kess like kind of takes a moment, tries to figure out how to sit down without being like too close, because being too close is quote unquote improper. But also,
Mm-hmm.
Kess has a tail, and it is possible to sit in a chaise lounge straight on when you have a tail.
Mm-hmm.
So Kess is like, alright, and sits and has to like situate themselves. And nope, the tail is right across Nicola's lap. Because there's nowhere else for it to go. This is unintentional. Kess is like, I am very sorry. I don't know where else to put it. I got a 10 on the roll. That's our first 10.
uh, and
Kess's tail has it's nice weight to it, and it is warm.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, you know, flocked, so.
Mm-hmm. I think that Nicola kind of flutters her hands a little bit. Not because she's like really embarrassed by it, but like I don't want to touch them if they don't want me touching them. Uh, and
Like, Nicola, I think we have crossed that bridge. If Kess didn't want you to touch them, they would have stayed standing.
and she basically it's I took a calculated risk, but man, am I bad at math.
Which is weird, because Nicola's so good at math.
And I think she settles for like just keeping her free hand kind of by her side because one is still holding up her head. So she kind of just keeps her free hand by her side, which prevents her from like laying her hand on top of Kess's tail in her lap. But like her fingers are still like touching almost like Kess's thigh and like um some unintentionally touching.
Good
It's
shit,
a
good shit, good
20.
shit.
And uh she like
Very,
puts her
very
hand.
close in this space.
Yes. She puts her hand down, picks it back up, flutters a little bit more, puts it back down again. um
Both of them suddenly very hyper aware of each other in this moment. Like, wait a
uh-huh.
second. Wait a second.
Yep. Yep. And I think Nicola is quiet for a while. Um, like, usually she's a very good conversationalist in terms of, like, just being able to keep up small talk. But that skill has escaped her.
Has decided to leave.
And she she without looking at Kess after a little while, she kind of just goes, of course I knew the servant, without any context.
Kess, like, briefly is like racking their brain, like, what conversation is this continuing? Hold on. And, like, after, like, a minute of silence, is suddenly like, oh, I understand what we're talking about now.
And she continues as if Kess didn't make any sound. Like as if Kess was following her perfectly from the beginning. And she says, he had him killed, actually. I'm sure you won't find that surprising.
Kess, in a very, like, small voice, says, no, I don't find it surprising at all.
And I think she, like, turns her head just a little bit so she can see him a little better out of the corner of her eye. And she says, I think she holds up her hand, her left hand. And like, it's been years. There's no reason there should be a tan line on her ring finger. and yet.
Magic.
Yeah.
We live in a magic world. Sometimes it be like that.
Sometimes it'd be like that. And she kind of like tilts her hand so the light catches it enough that Kess can actually see the tan line. Because usually you can't see it.
Yeah.
Like it's not. It's very subtle kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
And Kess's eyes just kind of widen in recognition of what that means.
mm-hmm. And she says, but it's become a little more difficult of late to focus like I have in the past. And I cannot unintentionally reveal anything again.
Nope.
Because I've used my move this time.
Yep.
But I feel like I should still roll. Like I roll, but I don't get the benefit of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's an 18.
That's 3 18s.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I think Kess kind of like, as like Nicola has continued talking, kind of looked down at like his own hands, being very quiet, and then I think still with like a small voice, because I think this is something that Kess has not been able to talk about with anybody, because it's one of those things that like you just don't.
Mm-hmm.
But Nicola's different now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out how to word it, because I know what I want to say, but I'm trying to figure out how to word it to have the most emotional impact. Not surprised learning this. No, I'm and the accent kind of drops. I'm afraid of him. He's threatened a few times that if I try and find a different patron, he'll have said patron and me killed. Which is why I'm still letting him hire me, even if the money's not the same as it was, because he still has the fucking power. Pardon my language. And I am intentionally revealing something. Oh, we've got 4 8s. Here you go. Have this fun thing.
Right. I could end this game now, but we do technically have 45 minutes left.
We do, in fact, still have 45 minutes. We have to stretch it out more.
Yeah. Uh,
Nicola reassigning the revenge plot in her head.
uh, and I think Nicola is quiet at this admission. Um, I think she doesn't really say anything, but in kind of like the way where it's like, uh, it's not the dismissive kind of like, that sucks, bro. Like,
Zuko
um,
voice. That's rough, buddy.
that's what it is. That's rough, buddy. I was like, I can't remember what it is.
That's rough, buddy. Is this
Yeah,
more
so
like quiet, seething anger?
yeah, I think it's understated because like Nicola has had a very long time at this point to forge her anger at this man in particular into something very quiet and sharp and focused.
And then along comes this weirdo.
Yeah. And like this doesn't change that. Like their anger at the dude not setting a place for Kess was more noticeable than this, right? Because like that was a new slight against someone that she likes. But this is like it's not the straw that broke the camel's back. It's just like another brick in the or another nail in the coffin of this dude, right?
Yeah.
But she's quiet and just sits in that kind of solidarity type silence
Yeah.
without saying anything because she kind of feels like saying anything would cheapen it a little bit. Like it wouldn't probably, but like it feels like it would. And so they sit quietly, and I think after a while, Nicola goes to check outside, sees that the Baron is suitably distracted, and they leave.
Guess gets to introduce Nicola directly to Sugar. Sugar's a very, very good girl.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. A disagreement becomes heated.
Mm-hmm. It does not necessarily mean that it's a disagreement between Nicola and Kess.
Yeah.
But that's always an option.
Yeah. I'm thinking. Okay, so this is a meeting at the park. This is like, so let's say like this has like been going through like the year, and now it's like it's fall, right? So it's getting colder out. And this is another like clandestine park meeting between the two of them. And so they meet in the park to, like, I think it's gotten a little bit more like, okay, here's what I know the Baron is doing, instead of
Mm-hmm.
being like gossipy about it. It's just like, no, 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 here's like actual information that I know you can use, you
Right.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Being less coy with it, because now they're like, there's a common goal. Yeah, fuck this
Mm-hmm.
dude over. Like, fuck this guy. um and like mid conversation, he just shows up.
Mm. Uh-huh.
Yeah, you know, and like grabs Kess by the arm and is like, "What are you doing here?" And Kess is like, "I'm enjoying a day at the park with my friend."
Mm-hmm.
And he is absolutely fucking livid about this because, uh, no,
Mm-hmm.
you don't see anybody else besides, you know, me or whatever parties I fucking take you to.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's a dick and thinks he owns Kess, and Kess is just kind of like deer in the headlights look, like, I was not expecting this to happen today.
Mm-hmm.
And
Um,
is in like, Kess is in like more feminine apparel, so it's like a dress and shit.
mm-hmm. Um, I think uh, Nicola quickly hides their surprise, um, and goes immediately into uh, damage control mode.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like it might um like on the surface it seems relatively callous um in just the way that she is immediately like placating this dude um because like she has a very specific part to play and she is choosing in this moment to play that part in order to kind of help Kess,
Yeah.
but at the same time, uh, it like it feels bad probably to have someone be like not immediate for them to be this close and for Nicola not immediately to jump to Kess's defense, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Um,
I think there's a degree where like Kess gets it, because like Baron Whitehall is also like, you know, he's a regular sized dude.
mm-hmm. Um, and I think Nicola is just like, oh, you know, she's playing up the part of capital F female, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because this dude is definitely one of those dudes.
Yeah.
Um, and uh, being like, oh, Baron Whitehall, I'm so sorry. While she has been uh, snarky and like Ice Queen to other people in this circle, she's never been that way with the Baron. Like, with the Baron, she's always shown this almost more simpering side.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because she knows enough about him to play to his vanity. Um, and so, you know, she's like, oh, Baron Whitehall, I'm so sorry. Um, I didn't mean to take them away from you when you all had uh, other engagements. They didn't have another engagement, but she's doing that conversational thing where you're offering the other person a way out of the hole that they're digging themselves. um and I think he kind of like, he's like, oh well, and he's just kind of like posturing, and she says, uh, uh, she says, I ask Mix Azura to accompany me on these walks, uh, because I do so often take them at odd hours of the day. And she kind of like gestures. I think the sun is beginning to set. And um, and she says, there has been an increase in reports of assault in the area, after all. And I. A woman such as myself is quite an easy target.
Yeah, and
And
he's like
Mhm.
dismissive, but like in that way where it's like, well, of course, like women can't take care of themselves. Still has like a grip on Kess's arm, and Kess is
Mhm.
just kind of doing the math in his head, like, how do I get out of this? How do I get him to
Mhm.
let go of me?
Mhm.
Um, but he's like less visibly angry, but still like not pleased.
Mhm.
Um, uh, give my brain a second to buffer.
Mhm.
Computer with too many tabs open.
uh, I think Nicola. I think she places her hand on his arm, um, the Baron's arm,
Mm-hmm.
and um, kind of steps into his space a little bit, in a, not flirtatious is the wrong word, but it's got flirtatious undertones.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but her stepping close kind of forces him to push Kess away a little bit. Um, and she looks up at him, and says, I do hope that you'll forgive me, Baron, for overstepping my place so.
He's like full of like bluster and just,
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't have known. Da 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 da. And I think this gives Kess a chance to kind of like pull his arm away and
Mm-hmm.
take like a proper step away.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think Kess tries to add to the placating. Um, if you'll just allow me to finish my walk with my friend, then we can have our, I don't know a good way to word this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just basically is like we can have like the time that you want us to have together if we finish, like, I finish my walk. Plus we have the uh scheduled engagement tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
um and kind of, I think, like, very very like conspicuously just links his arm with Nicholas, like, we're going to continue our walk.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make sure that my friend gets home safely, and then I will uh, make my way to your estate.
And I think to add on to this, Nicola um, kind of like pats his arm again, um, and says, "And my dear Baron, I believe it is beyond time for me to host you for dinner. Uh, it would uh, it would honor me if you would join me uh, Tuesday night."
We may need to reword that. Guess what I just rolled?
What? How'd you?
I rolled an 8.
Uh huh.
That means the tower's fallen over.
Uh huh.
um,
So, so Nicholas says this, and I think what happens is, sorry, I'm stretching.
no, you're good.
Mm. I think what, uh, the vibe that Kess gets is that, like, she is 100% attempting to seduce him in order to take the heat off of Kess. And I think he begins to respond, like, favorably to that. Like, he's been a lot of bluster this whole time, but I think he, uh, he's like, "Oh yes, dinner, that would be great." And maybe you can do XYZ thing that is definitely some kind of gross innuendo. Um,
Mm-hmm. I think
and
Kess is currently following Nicola's lead on responding because Kess is a little shaken.
mm-hmm. um, and I think that I think he begins to walk away. Um, and what does Kess do? Because you rolled an 8.
um, let's see.
So when the tower falls,
Mm-hmm.
let me read it out for everyone. When the tower falls, who is the last player to touch the tower before it fell? That player's character is the one to act on their feelings. This could mean anything as long as it undeniably demonstrates their true feelings for the other character. Choose whatever feels most dramatically appropriate.
So I have an idea.
Uh huh.
I think when the Baron is out of earshot, Kess, like, immediately, like, looks at Nicola and says, I'm coming to that dinner, and we're fucking killing him. I cannot stand him anymore.
I think she... I think she presses her forehead to his. Because we have to get that other forehead touch in
We
there.
do have to get that other forehead touch in.
Even if we can't have any more pulls.
Yeah.
But it's almost a headbutt.
Yeah. I think what it is it's like Nicola does that and then Kess like shifts it to like a nuzzle across like her cheek. You know, the less chaste, more affectionate.
And when Nicola pulls back, she's like very, very flushed. And her eyes are a little wide, like, oh.
Because his nose is like pink.
And she says, maybe not at the dinner, but I think I can move my plans forward a little bit.
I'll follow your lead.
Hell yeah. But
oh my god.
All right. So
tally up the attraction score.
Yes. So because we have 2 points in here that were not associated with us making moves, our final score is 24. Which means, according to the epilogue chart, your mind is overruled by the frantic beating of your heart. Damn the world, from now on, you only need each other. So, I think this epilogue is Kess sees... Nicola lets Kess in on a fraction of the machinations that he has been juggling behind the scenes.
What Kess has gotten glimpses of so far.
Yeah. And it's like, if you've never read The Count of Monte Cristo, or even seen V for Vendetta, it's similar in many ways. Just this huge interconnected web of plots, of intentions, and it's like all impeccably planned, like to the point where it's frankly ridiculous. Like it feels like Nicola is the designer of a fucking what's the word? One of those RPG games where it's like you have certain endings depending on choices you made, right? And and Nicola doesn't show all of it to Cass.
Yeah.
Because she is still very reserved, and also the more people who know, the more dangerous it is for both people.
Yeah.
2 people can keep a secret if one person is dead. And but she lets Kess into a little bit of it. And
Kess throwing a wrench in her plans.
Yes, exactly.
Not on purpose, but you know.
Because she's like, if he dies now, then that means like this whole segment of the plan can't happen. But we will and this part goes unsaid, I will do this as long as it gets you away from him. And so there is some fucking Rube Goldberg machine of a plot that shouldn't work, but does. He dies in an accident. Heavy quotes around accident.
Oh, yeah.
And Nicola has to learn to live with, like, she got her revenge, but not in the way that she wanted or expected. And in that way, it's like, it's not an Inigo Montoya, like, sense of peace afterwards. It's just like this dissatisfied meh that she has to come to terms with, but she would do it again.
Because now she has Kess.
Mm-hmm.
And Kess does whatever she tells him to do to help with this.
Mm-hmm.
Which probably includes, like, getting him in place to die in this accident.
Mm-hmm.
The Baron. Because Kess is the perfect bait.
Yep.
And that doesn't have to be bait anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They both probably start being seen everywhere together.
Mm-hmm. After a while.
Yeah, they gotta, like, so it doesn't look suspicious.
Exactly.
Because if it looks suspicious, like, but Kess does stop being, like, a courtesan for hire and just kind of focuses on being a performer.
Mm-hmm.
So Nicola gets to see Kess doing, like, professional bard work instead. And also just gets to... Kess is a sappy romantic.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, Nicola just gets the brunt of that. It's probably a lot of emotion.
Uh-huh. Good.
Yes. More good, cute dragonborn kisses.
Mm-hmm. All right. That is Starcrossed. I love them too.
Starcrossed is a good game. I do want to play this with Jenga blocks at some point.
Oh, it's so good.
Maybe not the horrible cursed ones.
Yep.
Yeah, this has been Starcrossed. I have been Izzy. You can continue to find me on Twitter at the Shondeer. You can find Hearthside Enclave at HS Enclave on Twitter and Tumblr. You can find the other podcasts I do at Hope's Hearth Pod and at Abbey Archives. I'm very tired. With me has been Danielle.
Yeah, I've been Danielle. You can continue to find me on the internet wherever you get good content at Redtail Talk 90. You can catch me on my home podcast, The Room Where It Happened, which is an actual play podcast where we are currently playing Urban Shadows set in Eastern Tennessee. It's a good spooky time.
It's real fucking good.
And you can also check out my other actual play podcast, Dumb Kids Playing Hero, in which we play a Forged in the Dark hack that is Animorphs inspired. We just started, as of yesterday, we just started our season 3. And it's gonna be a time. I'm really proud of the stuff that we've done there. But it's a lot.
It's already so much, and it's only just started.
Yep. You can find those podcasts at Roomware Pod and at DKPH Pod, respectively, on Twitter. Thank you all for listening. You've been great.
Yeah. We're gonna go to the BRB screen in just a moment, but for anybody just tuning in or is about to leave, please remember that we are doing this stream for Seattle Pride because Amazon fucking sucks. If you do !donate, you can see the donate link, and next up we are going to be playing Things Eldritch and Terrifying by Standing Stone's own August.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you do !TET, TET, you will get the incentives for that one. So if you donate, you can get... Oop, you accidentally double exclamation pointed that.
I did.
Yeah, they're the incentives for that, which is $5, pick a character or player to thank you for your donation, $10 to add a detail to a scene, $25, pick a game for us to play on a future stream. It's awesome. Thank you guys for being awake at 4 a.m. with us. I'm gonna go take a nap after I get the next part of the stream set up.
Yep, I am going straight back to bed.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Bye.
Bye.